city or a town, of frown. The business of a crown, of the living that abounds, of the church and the announcements. It's doing what counts, the underground sound in a city or a town, of frown. The business of a crown, of the living that abounds, of the church and the announcements. It's doing what counts. The underground sound is the voice within, to give ear to the spirit and to flee from sin, to live for Jesus in the praise of him, by not selling out for the praise of men, to do whatever it takes, no matter what the cost, to keep pushing up the weight, carrying the cross, straight bench pressing sin, defend the word that lacks, and your best mention him, or then you're gon' die. Cause the underground sound ain't a city or a town, the business of a crown, of the living that abounds, of the church and the announcements. It's doing what counts, the underground sound in a city or a town, the frown.
What are you reading?
It's not my type of book.
Oh, guys, I've had the weirdest day over here. So my buddy Scot Davenport, known him for like 10 years. He goes out and writes a book. Now, I don't even know if Scot Davenport can read a book, but he decides he's going to go out and write a book. Write a book, allegedly. What's that mean? He got a few dollars saved up and he sent it to an editor? Okay, so he writes this book and he sends it to me and he asks me to, hey man, can you help me get the word out? It's like, Scott, that's not really what I do. I don't really get the word out. Like, I have a different audience with my relationship. I mean, I would tell him, this is one of the worst books I've ever read. It's edited right. Most of the periods are where they're supposed to be. There's a lot of punctuation errors. I mean, this book is really bad. It's like remarkably bad. My mother used to play once a month. She would go and play a game called Bunko. And she would always come home, and I'd always make a deal with her and say, Mom, you got to wake me up when you get home. Just let me know that you're home. And she always would. And she used to win something called the Booby Prize. And I was too young to know what the Booby Prize was. All I know is my mom came home with a gift, and it was kind of cool. Well, when I got older, I found out that the Booby Prize goes to whoever plays Bunko and gets last place. If you're the absolute worst player, they give you a prize as a gift. My buddy Scot Davenport wrote the Booby Prize.
We're live and alive on the Underground Sound with my boy Pete Rubish and Bostin Loyd. Shout out to Leo Rex. He's our homie. And he watches these too. I really appreciate that. He watches my stuff and he like comments and like sends me messages and stuff, which I think is really cool. But what I wanted to do for this one is I wanted to just open up with, if Pete, if you could kind of like give an update on everything that you're doing. I know Boston's familiar with, you know, I know you're on Leo's podcast, but if you could kind of like explain everything you're going through with coming off the gear and everything and what it's like. The reason I want you to share that is because I want to hear Boston's opinion and also like his advice, like what, you know, like let's say if Boston was like mentoring you or coaching you or something, like what would he have you do? You know what I'm saying? So if you could just give like a, you know, kind of what's going on and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've just been off for 9 months now. I came off testosterone in November of last year, and I've just been trying to recover everything basically. So I was trying to have a child with my wife, and so that was part of the reason initially. And then I just want to be healthier too, because I blasted for like 9 years straight. So just been trying to rebound everything, and I felt like crap in January and February, and then things started feeling better. And I just recently got blood work, and it was pretty good. It was like I've been on rosuvastatin because Leo told me to, he advised me as far as that, and then ezetimibe, telmisartan, and then vitamin D3, 10,000 IU. So that's the stack I'm running naturally, just to get everything kind of dialed in, cholesterol wise and all that. LDL went from like 124 to 70. So just been trying to get all the markers in range and get everything as healthy as possible. bring up my sperm count and testosterone levels and all that, and just trying to get some of that strength back. So I lost a lot of muscle, lost a lot of strength, and it's just starting to come back now. So feeling pretty good about things.
So what do you, Bostin, you went off everything before, didn't you? Because I remember watching a video where you like had come off of everything, and I don't remember though, like what was the plan?
I've been off many times, but I'm currently off now I've been off everything, not even anything, nothing for 7 weeks. It'll be 7 weeks on Monday.
So what's the longest you've ever gone off of everything?
Since I started, the longest 11 weeks.
11 weeks. So
11 weeks in a row. I mean, I've taken many breaks, but the longest I've ever taken was 11 weeks. But this will probably beat it this current time in a row. Now I'm not on growth hormone, not on anything, peptides, not on TRT, nothing.
Wow. What was it like for you, like coming off? Did you have any issues? Because I know, like, me and Pete text all the time, and Pete's been telling me, I don't know if you don't want to go public with this, Pete, but I'm going to just do it. Pete's been having some back issues. And, I kind of was like, man, I don't know if maybe like being on gear kind of like makes your back a little more indestructible, like you could train a little differently maybe. And those injuries could come out just coming off of everything.
Yeah, I think in general, like I'm not working out either. So I haven't been in the gym in 7 weeks. But if I was working out and not on gear, dude, my joints would be so brittle. Like after all those years of training enhanced, when you come off, your body just feels really like fragile. And I'm sure Pete went through that process in the very beginning. I'm sure he's probably recovering now after a while when his body but that initial crash is real. Like I'm not training, so I'm not going through it. But yeah, in the gym, you're just achy everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I would do like one set and I'd feel dead.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't know. How do you feel right now?
I feel fine. I wouldn't even know anything's wrong with me. I mean, shit. I'm only eating like 2 to 3 times a day, like 3 times a day. And I just been hanging out with my family and working. So, I mean, I can't really feel that bad. But I will tell you what, I was getting like super nauseous. That was like the one side effect where I was like, wow, maybe I should just hop on dialysis because I can't handle this nausea. So I talked to a few people and they were like, dude, get on Zofran. And Zofran is prescribed to pregnant women, like when they're pregnant for sickness, because all these pregnant women get real sick when they so I started using this stuff, right? And immediately, boom, I could eat my meals and not feel nauseous. I'm not nauseous throughout the day. So the one side effect that was like bothering me, where I was like, man, maybe I should just get on dialysis, has completely gone away.
When was the last blood work?
Huh?
Or when was your last blood work? Like
recently, like 5 weeks ago, and it improved slightly, but not enough to be happy about or anything, because it's still worse than when I first got diagnosed with it. But the doctor was impressed. But it could have went just down because I stopped working out. You know what I mean? Like it could have just went down because I stopped working out. My body weight stayed the same though. I'm still the same weight. I still hold 250 regardless. But I mean, I don't know.
So in terms of like what Pete's doing, because he's going off for life, right? That's his plan. And I think probably the guy to listen to maybe is Leo, and I think Leo kind of mentors you, right, Pete? But if it was you mentoring a Bostin, what would you do with Pete?
How far is he trying to go in powerlifting?
I mean, I'm not like super. I don't think I can hang with the guys at the top anymore, especially being off. I'm not that naive because it just doesn't work like that. So I'm not expecting to like be the best or even be up there with the best anymore.
But compare yourself to other natural powerlifters. Are you one of the best?
Right now, no way.
No?
But I don't. These guys are doing freaking 850 deadlifts, and I mean, whether or not they're actually natural, that's another argument. But 850 deadlifts, 500-pound bench presses, like, and my hips destroyed from squatting.
But these are fat guys. These are fat guys. These are not guys in your weight class, right?
Bostin, have you heard of Ashton Ruska?
No.
Dude, we got to show him this guy. I'm not making any claims one way or another, but everyone says he's not natty. He's the best natural power lifter. He's jacked as hell.
So he's jacked too?
dude, he's freaking jacked. Like
he
there's
black?
some guys.
He's black.
What is he? Half black? I don't know. I'm not. Dude, you gotta get a picture of him up or something. This guy
Do
is
that.
jacked out of his mind. Deadlifting 850. Everyone hates on him, saying he's a liar and he's not natural.
Does he have an Instagram?
Yeah, he's what is it? Wreck-It Ruska. He's like Ashton Rouska. That's the best example I could give you of the pinnacle.
Give me his last name.
Rouska. He's the best.
Ashton Ruska.
Yeah, this is the best natural power lifter in the world. I think. I mean, I'm trying to think of who else.
Well, what's his name was natural, but that one guy, your buddy, John Hack. Well,
yeah,
he
but
was.
everybody knows he's saucing hard now.
Now he is, but he was strong.
This kid's pretty built, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I am 50-50 as far as whether or not he is or not.
Has he competed in natural federations?
Yeah, he passes all the drug tests. I don't freaking know.
He is black, dude. It could be. Yeah.
The other guy, Russell Ori, too. He's jacked up. I mean, there's some freaks. I don't know. So,
but Pete, you're not even planning on competing in natural competitions, right? I remember you saying that because you did gear for 9 years or whatever, and you were saying, 3 years clean, you could do it, right?
Yeah, like you have to sign a letter. You're 3 years clean at least. So then at that point, you can do USAPL, drug tested. I don't know if I would. I can't even do full power, so I wouldn't be beating anyone. So I don't know. I don't even know, like, as far as my plans with that.
My thought's a little more like, because Bostin, you remember when they drug tested the Mr. Olympia and Lee Haney
for diuretics?
Didn't they drug test for steroids though?
No, just diuretic testing.
They never did. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. Yep.
Oh man, there goes my whole entire thing, dude. Because isn't there a thing though? Like if you come off of everything, like say Pete's been off for 9 months, and then if he was to go back on, wouldn't it just be like the most?
Oh yeah, but they're doing lie detector tests, right?
No. But let's just say we're gonna do it. We're not gonna go natural anymore.
Oh yeah, I would if Pete was like, let's try to see what the best powerlifting guy could be. Yeah, obviously I would have him do a gram of trend, fucking gram of test. I would have him do all that shit.
Because I was watching your videos. I actually sent them to Bostin. He asked me to send him some deadlift videos, and dude, in your progression video, the 920 deadlift was like the easiest deadlift of all of them, dude. And I was like, dude, that doesn't even make sense. Like it looked hella easy. Like you could have done like 950.
I was on 350 Tren Ace. I don't know what the hell is going on.
That's not much at all. You got to bump that to
a
gram.
Well, know what you do. This is what I said on the Leo podcast too. I'm like, you start at 350 for your whole meet prep, and then the last 2 weeks you put in like 700 to a gram. Like you pin your whole stack, everything you got left, you just pin the last 2 weeks. So it's kind of like that's how you do it.
I think it would have been better if you would have just done a gram for like 4 or 5 weeks. You know,
dude, I'm trying to think. Maybe at some point I did 700 for like 4 weeks. I don't remember because I just would run continuous cycles.
But I mean, see, in the powerlifting, I don't really know much about powerlifting, but if it's anything like bodybuilding, you're going to have people that are genetic freaks regardless of drugs or not, right? So there's always going to be those guys that no matter what drugs you take, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you train, they could do 70% of what you do and still beat you. So at that point, it's like, do you want to risk your health for this and that? It just depends. I mean, if there's any money in it, I know Pete has a successful training business, so I don't think it's worth even doing that, because now if he had elite genetics to say, hey, like I'm right at the cusp of being the best, I would push it. I mean, who wouldn't, you know? That's why I don't believe that a lot of these guys are natural, because imagine this, if you're fucking that good naturally, wouldn't you be like, how fucking good can I get when I'm on shit? That just doesn't make sense to me, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's always the argument too. And like, I was good, but I was never in a position where I think I could have been the best. Like I was hanging at competitions where I was competing against the best guys and I was up there in that realm, but there was like always that one tier above me.
What
like
about
I was
the
in
deadlift,
like that
though?
second
What about
tier.
the deadlift? Just the deadlift.
It was that way until everyone started pulling sumo.
Because what's the record in your weight class?
Oh goodness, I don't even know anymore. like 930 or something like that.
Who's stronger, Larry
942.
Wills or the Ruskin guy?
Oh, Larry Wills.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a guy who was natural who squatted the world record, which was like, what was it? Was it 1,080?
Yeah.
And he you know what happened with him though? It's kind of interesting.
He's black though, so
Well, did you see what happened though with Ray Williams? So that's what he is.
Ray Williams, yeah.
He was killing everybody, right? He was squatting 1,080. He blew everybody out of the water. He was one of the best natural power lifters, best squatter. He was a stronger squatter than the guys on drugs. And he was competing. Yeah, because he could out squat. He had the highest squat and sleeves out of anybody, basically.
How fat was this guy?
He's a heavyweight, but it didn't even matter. All the heavyweights who were on drugs, he was whooping their butt, right?
What kind of genetics does this guy have?
I mean, he's freaking amazing. But like, listen, he's a big guy. He's a heavyweight. He's like 350. But listen to this. This is where it gets interesting. And I'm not calling anybody out, but he blew everybody away. And then the next meet, this was like a year later, all his lifts were 200 pounds lighter. And then he kind of faded away. But I think he's making a comeback. But I don't know. He had a child. I guess there was some stuff going on in his personal life, but I just thought it was strange because like his lifts went down so significantly, like as much as mine did.
I have people that email me in natural bodybuilding that ask me like if I could help them with drug protocols so they could beat the drugs. And obviously I'm like, dude, I said, I always am like laugh at that. I'm like, you're an asshole. If you're going to take drugs and enter a natural show, you're an asshole. So I would never help anybody like that. But if there's people that actually email me inquiring about that, there has to be some power lifters that are doing that shit.
Absolutely.
There's been guys who popped. I don't know. Yeah. You just wonder how many slipped through the cracks. That's all we're saying. So I don't know.
If it's a pee test or a blood test, those are easy to pass.
It's just urine.
I actually believe that the lie detectors would be harder to pass.
I don't think they do that. I think they just do urine.
There's no lie detector?
I don't think so.
That's what they need to be doing. You know how many people with bodybuilding? There's one federation that does blood, urine, and a polygraph if you win.
Bostin, what do you think about that guy? Do you know that guy in SEMA, the guy on Mark Bell?
No.
Oh yeah.
He's like Mike O'Hearn, bro. Like he's like as big as Mike O'Hearn, and he's another guy that says he's natty. And I'm like, I just can't believe it personally. Like I'm like, dude, you're bigger than Mark Bell, bro, who's like openly on everything. I don't understand that.
Cali Muscle claims he's natural. I mean, these guys are absolutely ridiculous, but
he is a black guy though. So
yeah, exactly. But
awesome.
Like Mike O'Hearn, there's no way he's obviously natural, right? You can't get better at 50 years old. I mean, it's just possible. But I mean, there's liars out there, man. Like, I'll be honest, my mom is a fake natty herself. So I know that people actually will believe that they're natural when they're not. Like they'll actually take drugs and in their head they will believe they're natural.
Really?
Like, I'll give you an instance. Obviously, I give my mom stuff for her shows. Like whatever she was natural years ago, but ever since she got older and she started because my mom turned pro at 60 years old. So she gets a little help, a little bit of NPP in the off season for her joints, a little bit of Anavar. She used growth hormone for her last show, all these things. But she'll go up to people backstage and volunteer to them that she's drug free. So there is people like that literally believe that they're natural. They don't want to believe that them taking orals or taking injectables or taking growth hormone, they don't want to believe that it's not natural. So they literally will make it up. Like she'll straight out tell people like, yeah, I don't take anything, which is fucking crazy to me. I'm like, why do you do that? And people are like that, man. It's not just her. It's a lot of people that are like that. And so I wouldn't believe everyone. There is a few people that probably are truly natural. But for the most part, if somebody is doing crazy lifts and they're muscular on top of that, why would they stay natural? I mean, if you're that good, you would want to see how great you could get. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that logic. I mean, especially like when it comes to just people wanting to be the best at something. I mean, Justin Harris, I remember talking to Justin Harris once about it, and he kind of broke it down the best way to me. He's like, people who are in competitive sports, because we're talking competitive sports here, and he's like, they're competitive people. So what they want, competitive people want to win. That's what they want. And so they're going to do whatever it takes. You know what I mean? Like those type of people are going to do whatever it takes. They're not like necessarily like super virtuous or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're not like priests or something. This is, you know what I mean? Like they're like not all about honesty necessarily, you know, not that they necessarily aren't, but
I agree with that for sure.
You know, they're competitive because they're in a competitive sport. So they're going to do, you know, whatever it takes to get to be the best. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, you know.
I mean, I consider powerlifting more of a sport than bodybuilding, but I don't consider bodybuilding a sport. I consider powerlifting more of a sport because it's you do this and you place here because of your numbers. Bodybuilding is subjective, so you can't consider a subjective sport like that. I mean, I like to call it more of a hobby, but if you could make a living doing it, congratulations. But I don't like to. Powerlifting is definitely a sport compared to bodybuilding.
So you just said that you're not on dialysis yet? You're still not?
I'm not on anything.
That is incredible, man. Like, and you said you were getting really nauseous for a while, and then you took something and it's gone away?
Well, when I was on the drugs, I was feeling super nauseous. Yeah, when I was on the drugs. So I've been off the drugs. I've been taking that Zofran, and literally I wouldn't know anything was wrong with me. Like nothing. I still play with my kid nonstop all day. Like we go in the pool. Like I don't feel like I'm sick. You know what I mean?
Now, what about your blood though? Is your blood, because the kidneys filter it, right? So your kidneys, are they functioning, or like is your blood getting toxic right now?
According to blood work, I'm at 9% kidney function, which is terrible. Like most people need dialysis at 15%. So that just goes to show you, most people when their GFR, which is their filtration rate, gets down to 15% kidney function, they need dialysis. I'm on 9% and I don't need it. My potassium's fine. So
those toxins though that your kidneys filter, are they building up though?
I guess my kidneys are working enough to get them out because all my blood work, like my sodium is fine. I'm not swelling. I have no edema. All that stuff is normal.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, are you opposed to ever getting on stuff again? I mean, is it like, hey, I want to be healthy for my family and live long and stuff like that? Or like, what's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, or do you just not want to go there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get sucked back into doing all these cycles again. What's the mentality?
I think I'm on the fence, man. I think I'm on the fence because there's like, I know I can make it a year, and I've thought about going a couple of years and maybe doing like, you know, I don't know, a USAPL meet at some point 3 years down the road, but like, it's hard because I'm making crazy progress, especially on my bench. And I'm like, well, if I get to a point where I'm benching 480 naturally, and I'm like, holy crap, if I run a cycle of like Test Primo and Anavar, I could get to 550. Like that thought will cross your mind. So it's kind of almost like, I don't know if I'd want to do hard cycles and run like Trent anymore. I really am pretty much good without that. But if I can get these natural numbers like higher and get them to a point where they're like pretty good, it's going to be, the thought's going to be there as far as just like certain compounds. I don't want to run the hard stuff, and I want to find like somewhat of a balance because now that I'm older, like I'm like Bostin and I are the same age. I just don't care as much about like trying to impress people and stuff like that. So
isn't that funny? Isn't that funny with age that changes?
Yeah, I don't like Instagram is so meaningless to me. I still post occasionally, but I used to like scour the comments and see how many likes I got, and it meant so much. And now I don't care at all.
Yeah,
I don't even read the comments hardly.
You guys have successful with a kid? Did you and your wife?
Oh, that's
possibly. I mean,
okay. So yeah, you don't have to answer. I was just wondering, but
we'll see what happens. But it's looking good. Let's put it that way. So.
But how long were you guys trying for, or how have you guys been trying for?
Oh, it's been a crazy time. Honestly, I don't think I've ever said this, but I think now it's okay. It was about a year and a half ago we had a miscarriage. So that was hard, man. I was like so excited, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be awesome. I've never had a kid. I was 28 at the time. I was really pumped. And then That was hard, man. That took a little while to get
Me and
over.
Ariella had a miscarriage too our first time.
That's crazy. See, nobody talks about it.
6 weeks in. How about you guys?
Exact same, buddy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was-
she got pregnant, and I think my sperm. I don't know what happened, but she was pregnant. We took the blood test. Pregnant. 6 weeks later, had a miscarriage. Second
Yeah,
time,
man.
second time I used the HCG and HMG, and it happened immediately. So, were you using an HCG or no?
Dude, well, when she got pregnant, I was like on a ton of stuff. So it was like, I think my sperm was all messed up and crappy, and it
That's
just,
what That's what I think it is, because I was on
Yeah.
a ton of gear when I
Same
got her
thing,
pregnant
man.
the first time. And the thing was I wasn't taking any fertility drugs with the gear. It was just
Me neither.
It was like a freak accident. And then boom. But then when I started taking the fertility drugs, and I know many other people that got their chicks pregnant on cycle like that, and they would lose the baby early. And I think it has to do something with shitty sperm.
I 100% agree. That's got to be it. You and I both at the exact same point had a miscarriage, and we were both on heavy cycles and not taking anything for fertility. Like,
Yeah.
come on, it's got to be. That's
I
crazy
think
though.
our sperm probably got in and
Yeah.
like died or something.
I can't wait to hear Leo talk about this. Like,
Dude,
Leo's going to be
he's
like,
right,
this is
bro.
what happened.
Yeah, he probably Leo's a freaking genius. But
Yeah.
no, that's crazy. I didn't know that at all, because that's what I said. Tons of people have had miscarriages. No one ever talks about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, this should happen 4 years ago. So I don't mind bringing that up now. I mean, she was more upset than I was, because you can't really get attachment 6 weeks in. But I'm sure on the chick, it's really hard.
Yeah, it was rough for a little while, and I mean, obviously, I still think about it. So I think, and I've kind of blamed myself because I'm like, oh, I was on the cycle and my sperm was crap. So
So
I
did
totally
you end up
agree.
using HCG, HMG at any time or no?
yeah, well, when I came off in November, first thing I did was HCG and HMG for like 16 days. I did a bottle of HMG every other day, so 8 total bottles of HMG or amps, I guess, and then I did 20,000 IUs total of HCG. So I did that every other day at 2,500 IUs. And then I just took like, I think it was 2 weeks after that, or
Yeah,
I can't even remember.
you take Clomid and Nolvadex and all that shit.
Yeah, the traditional stack together. I did that for like 50 days, and then I just came off everything, and I
Yeah,
felt
so
like crap.
you use the conventional PCT that I recommend to people, except
Yeah.
I don't include the HMG. That's just for people that are trying for kids. But yeah, man. Well, I hope you guys have luck soon. And if you guys use that HMG and HCG protocol, it should happen quick.
Yeah, that stuff definitely works. HMG is underrated. People don't know about it as much, but it.
Dude, literally the first time, and like me and Ariella, we always have unprotected sex. Literally the first time I added that stuff in, that first month, it was like boom. And I wonder if my kidneys, like we haven't had as good a success this time. And I wonder if it's because my kidneys are, I wonder if kidneys protect fertility. I mean, the doctors say no, but who knows?
Boston, what's your LH and FSH at? Or did
I
you
don't-
know at the time?
I have
When
no
you got-
idea, man. I actually have no idea. I couldn't even tell you.
Because like when
I
Anytime
do.
I was
I'll tell
on-
you this. I will tell you this. I did a sperm test. I had 0 sperm, 0 healthy sperm, and in 10 days I had billions
holy hell, are you
with
kidding me?
with the HCG HMG. Literally 10 days, and I got her pregnant right then.
See, that's why it's 100% because we're on these cycles and our sperm sucks. But listen to this. My LH went from 0.1 because it was nothing. There was nothing going on to like 4.3. And then my FSH, this is the crazier one, went from 0.2 to 6.2. So
Yeah, because your body recovered.
yeah, but my test is still crap. But I wonder if that's from the statin. That's another story.
How low is your test?
323.
I mean, it's not dirt low. I mean, it's not like 80.
But my FSH is like high almost. Like the normal scale is like 2 to 8, and I'm at
Well, that's probably why
6.2.
you feel so good.
Yeah, it's just weird that my test is kind of crappy. But Leo said the statin could lower that as well because I was trying to get my cholesterol down.
Yeah, those drugs suck, man.
I feel nothing though. I feel no side effects from the statin.
No, yeah, but if you were bodybuilding, your physique would look like shit. Like, you know how many people that I know started like lots of blood pressure meds and like statins and stuff for their health, and they get soft, like their body just stops responding.
What do you think about ezetimibe though? Well,
I haven't researched it, but I will tell you one thing. Like, if my client wants to be healthy in the off season, he just wants to make progress, fine, I'll let him be on that. But if my client is like getting ready for a show, they got to cut all that shit out. Like they could use an ACE inhibitor for that 12-week prep to keep their blood pressure down. But like beta blockers, they got to go. They interfere with clenbuterol and stimulants. A lot of that shit has to go because they won't get in shape.
I was gonna say, Pete, what you could do is you could ice your balls for an hour every day, and that's known to help out a lot with that. You know, vigorous Steve.
I love Steve, but I
Yeah.
haven't tried it yet.
That sounds kind of rough.
What does that do?
Well,
Apparently, it could raise your testosterone, right? Is that what it was?
Who the fuck said that?
Vigorous Steve.
God, that guy is so bizarre sometimes.
He keeps recommending Pete to do it. He's like, give it a try.
I like Steve.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it.
No,
I
he's
just don't.
a nice guy, but he's a very nice guy, but he has a lot of weird theories. Let's just say that.
I just don't have time. I mean, I don't have time, I think, to really do that. But
Dude, your girlfriend or your wife would be like, "What the fuck?
What are you doing?" if your levels stay where they're at, Pete, and they end up not going up, will you go on TRT?
I don't know because I'm like getting really strong right now, so I'm very confused.
Why don't you just run some natural testosterone boosters?
I mean, does the Tribulus and that stuff actually work? Like, I don't know.
Oh, is DHEA banned? Is that why you don't want to use it?
Dude, I don't know. Yeah, DHEA would be banned in the USAPL for sure. I don't know.
I was going to say Tribulus, D-aspartic acid, and that one, and GABA. That would have been good.
I could try. I just get sick of taking all these supplements. Like, I'm so happy I don't have to pay anymore. But
dude, that's my shit right there. Is like, you know, I'm used to taking 9 cc's of gear, you know, and shit. Yeah. And that's kind of fun to me, right? But then I'm off all the gear, and I was taking all these natural supplements, like all these fucking Chinese herbs to get my kidneys. Dude, it's more time consuming taking all the damn herbs than it was shooting 9 cc's of gear. So I'm taking like a month break because I got so burnt out. Literally, my whole morning ritual would take like 20 minutes just to take these subs, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, even I wasn't taking that much, and I got sick of it. I had to narrow it down to like the top 5. I was like, I can't even handle doing this all the time, ordering all these natural stuff. So I picked like 5, and I'm like, this is what I'm going with.
Yeah, dude, and all that stuff's mostly unnecessary anyways, but at this point I'm desperate to try anything to get any kind of function back.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should give that a try. Do you you have motivation though, Pete? Like you actually feel, I mean, because there's one thing being strong and being able to lift the weights, but do you actually feel like going to the gym? Like where you're like, I want to train. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's more fun now because I don't care what people think. So, like, I'm actually enjoying it. It's more enjoyable. I don't have to put on a show for Instagram.
You cared that much?
What's that?
You cared that much what people thought?
Well, I was at this. I had my 15 minutes of fame in like 2016, 2017, where I was like the top guy, and Animal would make me their top athlete, and they'd showcase me and all this stuff. And my Instagram videos would get 80,000 views, and I loved it. It made my ego. It stroked my ego. And now I'm like, I don't care at all. Like, there's more important stuff.
At least you can admit it, man. A lot of these people get so wrapped up in social media, they don't even know what's happening. You know,
it's just ego. They all just need their ego stroked, and that's how they do it. Validation in life. They get it all from that.
Yeah. How's that? Isn't that Dan guy with Animal? Dan
Green.
Is he a good powerlifter?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't competed in about 5 years because he's had a few children, and he's had injuries. He's just beat up now because that's what's happened to all of us. But he's still kind of tied with them. But they mainly, it was good when I was with them for 5 years, but they kind of, it's just like any other sponsorship. Once you're on your way down, you're out. You know, they replace you just as quick.
Were they paying you every month?
Yeah, a little bit. I want to say, because they're notorious. They won't try to pay the guys. Only the bodybuilders, actually.
Well, so I know a bodybuilder that had a contract for $5,000 a month, which I thought was pretty good.
Oh yeah, for them, the powerlifters though, you'd be lucky to get like $250 a month.
$250?
They don't pay most of them.
Oh no. Wow.
Yeah, they don't. The biggest thing I had with them that was good, I actually had one of the better contracts when I was at my peak with them. because I heard like Jamal Browner, they tried to stiff him basically. They didn't pay him anything, but like they would pay $1,000 per meet I would do or whatever. So I could do 3 meets max, and they would pay, that's $3,000, and then they would pay like a certain amount each month. I really can't complain. It was whatever. It was
But
extra money.
the $1,000 that'll go into like drugs and stuff. You mean?
Not if you're sponsored.
Oh,
Not
okay,
by
yeah.
Animal, but sponsored drug sponsorships. You know.
No. But what I'm saying is that 1,000. There's no way it costs you 1,000 to enter that show, right?
If I have to travel, but then I just wouldn't travel, so I just pocket the money.
Yeah, exactly.
So
What I'm saying is like the NPC fee is like 100 and then 100 to compete. So it's like it'll be like with a hotel and travel, maybe 400 or 500 max. You know what I mean?
yeah, it was good. I really can't say anything bad about my experience, but I mean, that's the reality of it. Any sponsorship, as soon as you're not like the guy anymore, they're just going to replace you, and that's just how it is. Which I understand.
How did they end your contract?
It was just like a yearly contract that at the end of every year in December we discuss the next contract, and I saw the writing on the wall, so it wasn't really a shock. But they just said, "Yeah, we're just going to let you go." He called me on the phone, the athlete manager guy, and
Wow.
it's just it is what it is. I saw the writing on the wall. I wasn't performing as well as I had in the past, so it's understandable. But
I wanted to ask you guys, this is a little change of subject, but it's just something I wanted to ask you guys. Both of you guys were on Louis Marco's podcast. Like, how did you guys get connected to Louis Marco, and what happened to that guy? I used to love watching Louis Marco way back in the day. Like, he was just funny. He was always like, Papa, or whatever, you know. I enjoyed him.
He got sick of bodybuilding.
Really?
Yeah, he got sick of bodybuilding, so he didn't want anything to do with him because I guess a lot of people just fucked him over and bodybuilders. I don't know about powerlifting, but a lot of bodybuilders had fucked him over. So he was like, fuck this, and he just stopped really targeting or promoting bodybuilding.
How'd you get connected with him, Pete?
I mean, he just reached out to me, so I was like, okay, you know, free advertising, so to speak, because he had a big channel. So I don't remember exactly, but
you had gone natural. Were you natural at that time too? Like, because I remember
I couldn't. I wanted to, and then like 4 weeks later, I was like, this sucks. I'm, you know.
You know what's crazy is I remember Louis saying on the video, he said, he was like, dude, you look so old. And you did. Yeah. You did. You looked like way older than you look now, which is crazy because that was like years ago.
Yeah, that's probably 7 years ago.
You looked older 7 years ago.
What? I know. I look back, I'm like, I don't know what was going on then, but I don't know. I just love Trent and stuff like that. And
yeah,
it was a fast life.
It depends, dude. Like, you know, it's funny when I'm on heavy cycles and I have like a beard and shit. When I was like posing pre-contest, people would be like, "You're old as fuck, dude. Like the fucking gear aged the fuck out of you." And then I would shave down to nothing, and they'd be like, "You look like a baby," and all this shit. So, I mean, you could change the way you look with some facial hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the worst, bro. If I grow my beard out, Pete, you see me with my beard, right? Like, I look like I'm like 50. I mean, it's like I got extreme. I'm an extreme with that. But what about I wanted to bring up Dallas McCarver because both you guys knew him, right?
I didn't know him personally. I mean, me and him had beefed, and we had gone back and forth, but I never had met him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw the guy a million times. I've talked to him before. I trained at him, or I didn't train with him. I trained at the same gym as him in Kentucky and the same gym as him in Tennessee. And I just saw him around with Jansen all the time. So they were always around.
Of course, dude. Jansen was riding that guy's coattails.
Yeah, I mean, Jansen, I've been around him. I'm cool with him. I don't talk to him anymore, but like I used to back when I was in Kentucky, I'd like go to his house and stuff, you know?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a good guy.
Now he ignores you?
No, I just don't. It was like he was friends with my ex. He coached her and like.
Who's your ex?
What?
Who's your ex?
She was at the this was a long time ago. She Charlie Brooke. She was
Why
like
why at the time?
well, our name changed and stuff, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. I just mean, so that was just way back in the
I
day.
thought you meant she like turned into a tranny and changed.
No. No, but he was coaching her, and so like that's why we moved to Lexington. We moved there because Matt was there with Jordan.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we
You
were
moved
at
for
their.
a chick like that? That's crazy, man.
I know it didn't go well. It didn't end well, but I don't have any animosity. I wish her well and everything, but it all worked out. Anyway though, so she was that was her coach or whatever, and so I saw him all the time, and he would help me out sometimes. But I just kind of cut ties with everybody once that relationship ended. I just started fresh down here, and I cut ties with everybody. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't hang out with anybody. I'm always at home or at the gym. So we have a gym. I'm working there. I'm at home with my wife. That's it. I don't hang out with people. But so I haven't really kept in touch with him or anything. But he was all right. He was cool. I think he's a good dude.
But how long ago is that? Like 2013?
Yeah, 2014, 2013, maybe
Yeah.
20. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's when he was a different person. Yeah.
He was not as big name as he was now. Him and his wife had this company Innovate, and they had some coaches under them.
Yes, I remember that. And they had a lawsuit go down with them.
Oh, really? See, I didn't even know this, but yeah, he was. I went over there a few times when they had their condo. But I haven't heard from him in a while.
Well, they're in Florida now. They're with the Revive down here in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, because what happened was he was training Dallas at the time at Lexington Athletic Club. Like Dallas was like 19, like he was just starting out, and he looked pretty good, but I mean, you didn't think like too much of him at that point. He was a bodybuilder, but he wasn't like crazy. And they would train, and Matt would train some of his other guys as well. And then at the same time, I moved to Knoxville. Matt and Jordan were moving to Knoxville as well with Dallas. So we all moved at the same time. Not like we didn't plan that; it just kind of happened. So then I was at Maxed Out Gym, where we had a falling out with Maxed Out Gym, but that's where we were at. And Dallas and Matt would train like 2:00 every day, and there'd be no one there because nobody was training at that time of day. So I'd see them all the time, and they were just like going at like supersets, everything. Everything was a superset. They were going 100 miles an hour, but I didn't really like talk to them a whole lot. They were too engaged in what they were doing, but
Yeah, I'm sure the training was pretty serious.
Well, wasn't he on EPO?
Yeah, tons of it. That's one thing that who knows, man. But like when I mean tons of it, I mean like I've used EPO. I currently just came off EPO, but because I was on EPO for my kidneys, and it was helping me a lot. But my doctor wanted me to take a month break on it. But when I say he was on a lot, man, he was on a lot. Oh my God, yeah. So I don't know how much that would help a bodybuilder in that amount of dosage, but at that dose of EPO, that stuff becomes very dangerous. Your blood gets very thick on that stuff. See, I need it now because I'm anemic because my kidneys. So it brought my hemoglobin from low to normal. My doctor wanted me to take a month off and then I get back on. But I don't think a lot of powerlifters get into EPO, do they?
no, nobody uses it. Nobody uses that. They only use GH if they have an injury primarily. Nobody uses insulin. Everybody uses trend, but then say they don't. That's what I get.
You know what I was thinking, Pete? A lot of these guys, right? Like, you know how these guys that are natural, right? They're just doing blood tests, right? These guys could be on fucking insulin and growth hormone, and they would never find it.
They don't blood test at all.
No, the Ruskin, I'm saying.
Yeah, they don't. He's never had a blood test in his life.
I thought you said that natural kid had a blood test. No.
No, dude, they just do urine. They do pee tests. That's it. They never blood test.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. Like what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
In the pee, you can't test growth hormone and insulin. So these guys could be taking other enhancements that help them.
I agree. Don't you think though, too, Boston? If these guys got a blood test, which that's why I'm like, I think they should. Wouldn't their LH and FSH be terrible? Tanked.
Oh well, they're not taking blood work. They're just testing for drug metabolites. But their blood work would be worse. Yes,
dude. Ruska did a video with Johnny Candido. It was a big video, an interview thing, whatever, talking about natural. I commented and it got like the most votes up, and it was right at the top, 1,000 votes. I was literally like, hey man, you should really get a blood test or get lab work, and to prove whether you're natural or not, because I'm like, your FSH and LH would be crappy if you weren't, like
His blood work would look like shit.
yeah. And I told him, so I'm like, you could prove yourself one way or another, just get a blood test, and nothing came of it. Like I literally said, I'm like, man, you could literally clear your name. Just go get blood work and we'll look it over.
Yeah, but let's think about this though. He could just come off for 12 weeks or 8 weeks and get the blood work.
I agree. I told him do it 4 weeks before a competition.
Oh yeah, with the date at the top. Yeah.
I said 4 weeks before USAPL Nationals, which is the biggest meet, get lab work and you can prove your innocence. I mean, I wasn't even calling him out. I just said, this is a good idea. This would prove.
Did he ever respond to it or no?
No, neither one of them did. And it was like, had 1,000 thumbs up, it was right at the top. But so
Well,
I know
obviously
they saw it.
saw it. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't these guys do that? Because there's certain things you can't fake. Like if you're LH and FSH, they're not going to rebound that quick. So if you're on stuff, it's going to be they're going to be tanked. Like your liver enzymes and stuff are going to be effed up. Like your lipids. It's
Yeah, most likely, or more, their cholesterol and their lipids will be off the chart. Yeah,
and their hematocrit will be 50 plus.
you're right. That's smart. You can have them get blood work. Yeah,
They won't
there's
do
a lot
it.
of people in the bodybuilding world that claim natural that aren't too, but I don't even bother with them.
Yeah, I'm not like keeping me up at night, but they don't. I think it's like they make people think this stuff is like possible or that physique is possible, and I don't know.
They want to make it seem like they're not getting any help, and that's the problem with people that claim natural that they're not. Like I've had firsthand experiences of people that I know they take stuff and they will lie about it, but it's almost like they believe it. They believe that they're not on anything. They're believing that they look that way or they're that strong or whatever reason, because that's that's them. So it's crazy, man.
I think Mark Bell said that if you're only on running two things, you're natty.
Maybe in the powerlifting world, shit, I don't know.
He said that before.
I'm not trying to just like single Ruska out because he's just the best guy, but like there could be a million others so we can name. But it's like my point is, if you want to prove your innocence, get some basic blood work, and there's going to be markers that are off.
Don't you think if you were truly natural, you'd want to prove to everyone you were natural?
I feel like you would.
Yes,
I would.
If people are telling, I had a guy today comment steroids when I benched 375. I was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm like, he got everybody tore him to shreds and he took the comment down. But I was like, are you kidding me right now? So, but I'm like, I have blood work.
You're like, have you seen my 485, bro?
No, I was like, I have blood work from a week ago. My test is 323, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
So when people comment like that, does it bother you or no?
No, I mean, not usually. I've had some messages where they're like basically like insulting me, but like not even. I know you deal with this too. Like they're not trolling, but they're literally like telling you they hate you or whatever, and they're like you're like, dude, what did I do to you, man? I'm just crazy stuff.
That
like
shit,
they're
man,
insulting, but not trolling.
The internet cracks me up. I mean, I deserve it a lot of the times because I troll the fuck out of everyone. But I could see you don't really troll people at all. So like when you get comments like that, I see what you mean.
It's not even that comment was, I'm like, just kind of laughed it off, but I'll get like a DM where they're like, what the hell are you, you got, because I have stepkids, they'll be like, oh, they're not your kids, you're a piece of, I'm like, dude, what the hell?
What the fuck, dude?
It's messed up. The world is evil to an extent. I'm like, it's kind of insulting, but all right.
Well, that's why you shouldn't read your other messages, those other ones from people that are not your friends.
I know. I usually don't. It's just.
I mean, I do all my emails, and I've gotten some really dumb shit on there, but I always laugh at that shit.
Yeah, people like, hey, I hope you die and stuff like crazy. I'm like, dude.
That that passive aggressive, like they act like they care, but they don't. Like I hate. That's like the worst is when they're passive aggressive about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I've heard you say, Bostin, numerous times that no one has ever disliked you in person. So, I mean, it's kind of like it's just people online, I think. They wouldn't do that to your face.
I've never had an issue in person. No.
I think that's what it is, People are just online and they don't care because it doesn't feel like – it feels like a safe place. They could just say, like, some horrible thing. I hope you die. Like, what the heck are you talking about,
Yeah, I get those a lot. I mean, those don't bother me. Those make me laugh. But it's crazy how many people. You know what's crazy about social media, Pete and Scott? The crazy thing to me is how many people make fake burner accounts to comment on your shit. I'm like, are people really that bored in life that they have the time to do that shit? Like literally, man, it's crazy. Like they got to make a fake email address. They got to make it like it's crazy.
I don't have time for that. I have to work and lift, and I don't. It blows my mind. I'm like, who has time to do this? To like talk crap to somebody else? I don't even have time to look at other people's stuff, and they're over here talking smack to everybody.
It's crazy.
It's kind of sad if you think about it.
Like literally, I like imagine kids in their basement of their parents' house, no work, no job, on their fucking like smartphone making fake ass accounts.
100%. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Bostin, do you think that Dallas could have won the Mr. Olympia?
Eventually, yeah. I mean, yeah, he was on
Really?
track. I mean, he was so young, man. He was like, I think when he died, he was like 25, 26. 25, I think he died. He was already second at the Arnold. So absolutely, man. I think that guy could have been. I did know that he was because he was getting stuff from one of my suppliers. And I do know the amount of stuff those guys were pushing was the most I've ever heard anyone taking. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, he had 50,000 testosterone levels. I've never seen anything close to that. And I know and I've talked to a few of his exes, and that they were doing some of his shots. Like, I've never heard of anyone taking that many drugs ever.
Do you know who Justin Shear is? Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, I do know who that is. He has no back, but he has a good physique.
That guy, so I live like in the next town from him. He's like 30 miles north. He has a gym.
He works with Matt Jansen too.
He's bro, that guy has gotten so big like pretty quickly. Like it's insane. Like to me, what's crazy is like his forearms and his calves have just gotten massive. Like, that's a hard muscle to build. You know what I mean? Like, how do your forearms just get humongous?
Well, he's working with Matt. So, you know, Matt's a big drug pusher and he's a big food pusher. So you're going to get guys that, because he just competed not too long ago. You're going to get guys like that are going to blow up like that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, he's big, man. That guy's freaking big.
Yeah, he needs some back though. He has really shitty lats.
Really? Okay. That's his weakness.
Yeah, everyone thought he was going to walk into that show and kick ass. I forgot what show it was, and he wasn't where he needed to be.
What show was that? Recently? That was recent?
It was the show that I went to, Nationals, I think, in December.
Oh, really? Was he trying to turn pro then? Is that a pro qualifier?
Actually, it was November. Yes, it was pro qualifier. I was at that show. Man, time flies. Literally, that was in November. I can't believe how fast time's flying. It's crazy. It feels like I was just there fucking a few months ago.
You know what's crazy, bro, is I'm from originally I'm from San Jose, and like when I was really young and just like wanted to be a bodybuilder, to me the Contra Costa show was like the biggest show in the world. Like I was like, that's the freaking show, you know what I mean? And you won that, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to. I mean, that was a crazy year for me, but I was very happy about that.
That video you posted recently on Instagram, you look insane, man. When you were like 23.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Crazy.
That was when I was training for my last show. And then I did the I trained at the Powerhouse over here. But yeah, that was probably the best I've ever looked for sure.
Yeah, man. You look great, dude. Like you know, I didn't know like when I first saw you, I was like, how good is this guy? Like, you know what I mean? Because I just didn't know. I was like, and I don't know if I've ever seen that video before, you know, when you looked like that.
Yeah,
like I've seen some videos.
I was 250, pretty lean.
Yeah.
You miss competing and everything?
Yeah, honestly, like I finally got the itch. So if I wasn't sick, Pete, I would 100% go for it again. Like, and dude, bodybuilding is like people like, I hate these people that are like, you know what I mean? Like you train for an hour a day You take 2 days a week off from the gym, Wednesdays and Sundays to do all your meal prep. Dude, you could still spend all the time with your family at home. Like, just because you're a bodybuilder doesn't mean you have to be selfish and take it out on your family. Like, but these guys, they for some reason they like to just go out and do all this fucking extra shit, and they can leave their families in the ghost. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you could easily train for an hour and a half, come home and live your life and like be with your family. So it wouldn't even take away from my family time. So I would definitely get into it if I was healthy. Yes.
That's crazy. That's the one thing as I get older, I'm like, what matters is family and just being nice to people.
Yeah.
Because I don't find that validation, like I said, in lifting anymore. I just do it because I enjoy it. That's it.
Yeah, and I can't even tell you at this point. I in my current state, I was training and I wasn't even seeing any results. So I was like, because I couldn't even get enough food in, like enough protein. So then I stopped enjoying it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just try to take this time to get healthy and see if my kidneys will come back. But you're right, man. Isn't it crazy when you have kids and like a wife and like a family? Like I don't even care what I look like right now. It's crazy. Like a couple years ago, like before my kid, I would have been like so depressed, looking like shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you care about all that kind of stuff. And now everything changes. Like I'll be 30 in 2 weeks and everything has changed.
Yeah, so you are my age.
Yeah, it's just my outlook though in the last year even has changed so much that I just like I saw my parents for the first time in 2 years a month ago and stuff like that. And you realize, like you said earlier, time flies and it just puts everything into perspective. And you realize like powerlifting and bodybuilding, it doesn't mean that much. It's great, but there's always going to be other people and people are going to forget about you. And it's just like, you realize how trivial it is in the long run, but we enjoy it. We do it because we enjoy it, but it's not the end all be all.
No, I agree, man. I agree. Like, what's the longest you've taken from not training?
I don't know because I still train even if I'm weak, but competing, I haven't competed in a year and a half.
Yeah.
I'm not as active anymore and I'm cool with it. I just enjoy training and getting
How
stronger.
long are your workouts?
Usually about 2 hours.
Okay.
But we own a very small gym, so I'm always with my wife all day long.
Is that
So
the
we're always
house?
together. What's that?
Your gym's at your house?
No, it's a separate location. It's 3,600 square feet.
Oh,
Just a powerlifting gym with not much equipment, but we have a group that comes there and she teaches group training classes and stuff, and that's what and I train people for powerlifting, so I'm on my computer all day emailing people. But it's been good. My perspective though has just changed tremendously. So
Yeah. Well, at least you're getting your workouts in, man. That's good.
yeah, and I was like listening to the last podcast where you were like, you don't really train women out of like respect for your wife. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the couples I do, like if they have a wife or if they have a husband and their husband refers them to me, or they have a boyfriend and their boyfriend refers them to me, and it's like a mutual thing, I will do it. But like if a bikini chick hits me up or like a figure chick and they're single, like I don't like, why are you hitting me up? Like I don't promote I don't promote that, you know what I mean? Like
I've had that too where like I'll be training the boyfriend or whatever, and then he'll say, hey, can you help get my wife strong? And it's not weird. I've had that before, but I pretty much try to do the same thing. It's just like a respect thing. So
yeah, and like I always tell my wife too, like at the end of the day, like I don't care what I mean, unless some guy's perfect, and I don't believe in somebody that's perfect. At the end of the day, we're males, right? We could put ourselves in bad situations. I prefer not to put myself in bad situations, so I don't have to make decisions like that. You know what I mean? Like I prefer not to.
yeah, and you're like me because you're always around your wife. Like you
Always.
Yeah, that's how we are. We are never apart. We're around each other 24 hours a day, so it's not like anything can really happen anyway. And I prefer not to be in those situations. I don't want to ever have my loyalty questioned, you know?
Exactly. So
I feel like she could pick up my phone at any time and go through everything, and I don't care. I'm just like, there's nothing like not that happens because there's the trust. We don't do that. But like if it came to that, I'd be like, I don't care. I don't have anything to hide.
Ariel will get. It's funny you mentioned that Ariel will get like insecure sometimes. Like, let's say if I won't be as affectionate or whatever one day, she'll think and she'll go through my phone, which I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll give it to her. and she knows that I'm like I do nothing on there. So I'm like, whatever. Like every once
Yeah.
maybe twice a year, she'll go through it, and I'm like, here, go look through it. Like I don't talk to anyone. So, but yeah, like if a hot chick was to hit me up for training, and I'm like, who referred you? And she's like, no, I just saw you, and I think you'd be a good fit. I'm like, nah.
Right.
I'll give you someone else. I'm not even getting myself in that situation. Because, dude, you never know. Like, even when I was single, everything was professional with my clients when I took females on. Never
You
once
have
have I
to
had
be.
any kind of fling or relationship with a female through my business. Ever. Not once. And, like, you never know what these kind of pictures chicks are going to send you. And
I was the same. I trained some women back in the day, and I was the same way. Like I was professional because I don't want to be one of these. You hear the stories get out later, and you're like, "Oh shoot, man!" Like you
Dude,
hear how
there's-
bad it is.
see all
It's
this shit
bad.
that's coming out on social media?
Yeah, and then the guy, I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. That's bad. You know?
He went private.
I heard. Well, I didn't even know who you were talking about, but I've heard other people before, like freaking even in powerlifting. People said that about John Gaglione, who Scott probably knows, but that was
Yeah.
Larry Wheels' coach.
What was he doing? He was being creepy with chicks?
Yeah, he got, and it everybody forgot about. I'm bringing it up again. I'm sorry, but but I'm just that's an example. So even in powerlifting, like that happened. So
Yeah, that's just a thing in life that happens all the time. I mean, it it shocks me so much. Like you hear about like a really popular like pastor or something ends up doing that,
Yeah.
and it's just like you can't even believe it. You're like, whoa, dude. And I think it's exactly what you guys said though. It's the situations you put yourself in. That's what it comes down to, because if you put yourself in a bad situation, that could happen to anybody, probably. You know what I mean?
Anyone, dude, like any male, we all have that switch, man. Like, but if you don't allow yourself to even get to that point, like
That's
you're
the key.
fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't do it. You can't put yourself in that
Yeah.
situation. No, never.
I had a bikini chick at the gym. She was inquiring about I was just giving her some advice on her show and shit, and like she was like inquiring about how much I train, and I'm like, so I was like I can give you a referral. Like, there's no way. And I straight out told my wife, I'm like, that chick was way too hot. You would have lost your mind.
Yeah. That's wise, man. That's wisdom. Did you Pete, were you ever able to figure out your values, bro? Or are we still at one?
I think we're still at one, but I just think being kind to everyone and nice, because it's like a respect thing. If you show everyone you interact with respect and you're polite and kind, that's what it's all about, because that's just influences everybody else. They're gonna be nicer to everybody else. So that's what I try to do.
But
It's
how
just
about
respect.
Pete? How about if you have a big following like yourself in the powerlifting community, and there's a powerlifting coach out there that's scamming people, taking their money, not doing their job, and you have a platform where you could call it out and save a lot of people money and heartache. Would you do that, or you just kind of stay away from it?
I just stay away from it because I mean, even I'm like I said, I'm not trying to go down this route, but a lot of people came to me from George back in the day, many years ago when he was coaching. They would come to me and be like, George doesn't respond, and so that happened like a long time ago. He doesn't really do it anymore. He's not active coaching, but back in the day, powerlifting wise, it was me and him were the only coaches. So I would get a lot of his clients who would come to me similar to what you've had with other people. But I didn't make any videos or anything. I don't know. I keep to myself with that kind of stuff because I'm like, well,
He
I
did.
don't know.
He did. Yeah, George did steal from a lot of people. It was a lot of people that was pissed because, and like I don't know, man. That guy is off the wall. But I'm sure there's a lot of people in powerlifting that do that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's always, you know how it is. There's always all new coaches cropping up all the time, but I don't get threatened by it because I don't even advertise and I just get referrals. Everybody sticks around. There is some turnover, obviously, but like I never have to advertise, and I still have people all the time.
Yeah, like I never post client transformations, and usually like very rare, maybe twice a year, I'll do that for like a client or whatever. But because if I do that too much, I get too many emails.
That's what
And,
happens to me.
You get too many emails, and then like maybe 5% of them you convert into clients, and everything else is just like free information and free bullshit emails you're responding to. So I don't even do that. I just let the referrals. Like if somebody wants to hire me, they can contact me. But I remember like when I was single, I would be promoting more. Dude, I was doing so many goddamn emails. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, because you have time then. But when you have like a family, you're kind of
Yeah, you
like,
don't
oh
want
man.
that. You don't want that. Because most of it's not clients that are hiring you. It's just like bullshit.
So for coaching you guys, just email Pete at PR Strength One
No,
and Boston at Boston 35. You
see,
guys are
we
gonna
do the
get slammed.
opposite. All I coach people on is getting stronger. He coaches physique, diet, all that. So it's funny because it's like completely different.
Yeah, but you'd help someone with their drug program, right?
Oh yeah, drugs I'll help.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like diet, I'd be like, I'd feel bad. I'd be like, I don't even know what to tell you because if I gave them advice, I'd feel like I don't know anything about that. You know.
Yeah, but who
I
did you
just-
hire? Who did you hire for nutrition during your powerlifting?
The only time I hired anyone was Justin Harris.
So what did you eat for powerlifting?
Mozzarella sticks and whatever the hell I wanted.
So
Not with Justin.
Oh wait, hold on. You had to at least try to get your protein in, right?
No.
Dude, powerlifting, we don't care about that. We just eat. We don't track protein. We don't even eat that. We eat mainly
Yeah, but-
carbs.
Your calories had to be high.
Yeah, but I don't think I was probably protein wise. I feel like it doesn't help strength it that much. I'm serious. Like I could eat 200 grams of protein as long as I got 200. I didn't get any stronger from eating 300. Like strength wise, it didn't matter protein intake. I just had to eat.
Can we admit though? Usually when you put on more muscle, you can get stronger.
Well, dude, it was weird because I worked with Justin and I got big as hell and I got like jacked. I was up to like 262.
Yeah, but did you get stronger?
That was the thing. Not really. I swear to God, I didn't. I was only at EQ and test though, so
But
maybe
you
that
weren't
was
training.
it.
You weren't training for strength. I bet you if you got to 260 and transformed and kept on the cycles and the food, and then you started doing your powerlifting workouts, it probably would have. Or were you still doing the powerlifting workouts?
Yeah, I was still, everything was powerlifting, but we were kind of like breaking it up where we were like in an off-season phase, 900 grams of carbs a day, like putting that size on. And I was on EQ and test. And EQ is a terrible strength drug, terrible. So that might have been part of it as well. EQ is good for physique, but it sucks for strength. So that was probably part of it.
That's weird. I've heard a lot of people claim that they've gotten stronger on EQ, but I think it's just a combination. I think it's just a combination of body weight raising and muscle mass raising for a lot of guys. But that's crazy, man. You have no diet.
Yeah, it was vascular. I looked good. I eat the same meals every day, and then in the evening it's a free for all. You see, so during the day I have the same meals. I have meal prep and everything, but then in the evening it's whatever I want.
So you do eat clean meals throughout the day?
Yes, the day is the same every single day. It's the exact same. It's the night. Like once I get home from the gym.
There you go. Tell us the daily diet for you and your prime.
Oh boy,
what is it?
Okay, let's do today. So today was I eat basically 3 meals a day. That's my normal because I don't like to meal prep a ton and I don't like to like be constrained by having to eat a million times a day. It's annoying. So I eat the first meal at about 11 a.m. Pre-training meal. That would be it's like 130 grams of rice, jasmine rice, and like 6 whole eggs, 6 whole eggs, 130 grams of jasmine rice. That's meal 1.
130 grams of carbs or 130 grams on a scale?
On the scale.
Damn, that's nothing.
I know. I don't like to eat a lot. Like
Well, you eat rice
when I was on
breakfast?
a bodybuilding diet, I was miserable because I had to force feed myself all day, and I felt like this was. I was like, dude, I can't even live because I'm having to eat every 2 hours. These
He's gonna make up for it at the end of the day, though, Boston.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's go.
Yeah. So then you got to get into this though. I go over to the store, which is right by our gym. I get a bag of chips. So I eat the chips with the first meal because you got to get sodium in powerlifting, or you're not gonna be strong. If you don't have sodium, you need it.
This diet's already cracking me up.
Yeah.
So you have to eat. I eat about a bag of chips with the first meal. Not a whole bag. I eat half the bag, eat the other half later. But that's the sodium. If you don't lift good without sodium. Meal 2 is post-training, the 3 to 4-ish.
Wait, was there any protein in there? It's just rice and chips?
The eggs, dude. 6 eggs.
Eggs. Okay, eggs. I missed that.
So it's still not that much protein, but you know what I mean.
That's pretty good. 6 eggs.
Powerlifters love eggs. So meal 2, 3, 4 p.m. That is another 130 grams jasmine rice, and that's 5 ounces of turkey, ground turkey.
That's nothing. Holy shit.
Okay, so that's your same meals every day, are those two?
Bag of chips
And then,
too?
what's that?
Another bag of chips?
No. The chips is once a day
Okay.
for the salt.
I thought you said you do half the bag and then half the bag later.
Yeah, so I would have eaten half the bag with the second meal, basically.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes I'll do Pringles, I'll change it up, you know. Then we get to the evening, I get home and maybe I'll have a whole pizza that night, a frozen pizza.
A whole pizza.
And then I'll probably usually some nights I'll have a box of Freezy Pops. I love those. Tonight I had mozzarella sticks with marinara sauce, a box of those. Freezy Pops.
He just doesn't
Yeah,
get fat.
I'd be curious. Hey, I'd be curious to see how much better of a powerlifter he would be if he ate like a proper.
I know, dude. I actually did, like, I did the Justin Harris diet to a T for like 12 weeks. And I was like, it was so regimented compared to what I was used to that I was like, holy crap, how do people do this all the time? Because it was it was 6 giant meals a day. Like, I was like, holy crap. Every 2.5 hours I'd have to force feed the next one. And I felt bloated all day.
Yeah.
Like, it got me big, but I was like,
he's too high of a carb dieter. You want to have more fats in your diet, and you don't want to have carbs too high. Like, you want to have a balanced diet. That's the problem with a lot of these coaches is they're like, you know, like 400, 500 grams of rice per meal. Like, who the fuck would want to do that?
Dude, it was hard. I was like, it was rough. I was forcing this food down, and meal prep was taking me like, I would have to cook food so often and meal prep. It was taking me like an hour and a half, 2 hours a night.
Did he do the super high? Did he do the super high carb day with you, Pete, where you eat like sugars and stuff?
Yeah. I don't know if I hated that one less or more because I just was like bloated out of my mind. But
what would you eat for the carbs? What would you eat?
It was I did a ton of rice. Most of it was rice based. But then he would let me have let me have a little bit of sugary carbs. So I could have bagels and orange juice to an extent, some orange juice. And that was kind of fun. It was nice to get a little bit of that in there, but because I'm a power lifter, so he wasn't being as strict as he would with a bodybuilder. It was good. I can't complain. Like, I saw the pictures. I don't know if I have them anymore, but I was 262 and I was big and vascular, but I just felt like a blimp.
At least you tried it, man. At least you gave it a try.
I just don't know how you guys do that, where it's like every 2 hours, 6 times a day, eating massive quantities.
Dude,
like,
I don't know how I used to do it either. Cause like in contest prep, I ate 7 meals a day when I trained for a show, right? So every meal, every day, 7 meals a day. So, and like you said, I would bake chicken in bulk. I would do two things in the oven. But now, dude, you're so successful. There's so many fucking meal prep companies, man, especially in your area in Tennessee. True. Yeah, I mean, you don't got to worry about that. Like, for instance, like, I haven't been on a bodybuilder diet in months and months and months. So now going back to one would be fucking weird. Like, just like you were like, what the fuck, I'm eating all these meals in meal prep since I haven't been on a bodybuilder diet. But when you get into that click, I'm sure when you got used to it, right?
I did. It was like a routine, but I was exhausted mentally from like the 2 hours of meal prep a night for the next day, washing dishes, like cooking food. And it just got to a point where I was like, I just want to like relax and live. I don't want to be so regimented. Same with that's part of the reason I'm not like necessarily wanting to get back on cycle and compete all the time anymore, because I'm like, I just want to live and enjoy life as opposed to always having to do everything perfect.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy because right after that is when you pretty much went off cycle and like totally changed, right? Like, it was after you worked with Justin, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I did.
I feel like it was right then. Like, you got the biggest you ever got, and then you just like dropped all.
It burned him out. It burnt him out.
It did. It did. It was too much for me. Like, it was. I would have had to ease into things more because it was like going from 1 level to 3 levels up as far as the amount of food. Because like you said, you're like, that's no food, but I'm like, that's what I'm used to. So, like, going from that little bit of food to like a crazy amount, it was just like, holy crap. I did my best, you know, and I'm man enough to admit it was just wasn't my thing.
Now, what do you think your body fat percentage is right now eating a pizza a day?
10%, 100. Like, I would bet my bottom dollar 10%.
So you don't think you're over 10?
No, I never lose my abs or anything. Like they're always like pretty ripped.
Physique pictures on your Instagram?
No, that's another. I don't post physique pictures just out of my respect for my wife. Again, same thing. Like I haven't posted a physique picture in 10 years.
That's a little too much.
Well, no, I mean it literally is. It's just like, but I've got abs and I've just have terrible shape for bodybuilding though. Seriously.
Can I see your midsection right now? Like if you stand up?
Are we really doing this?
Yeah, let's see it.
He competed in bodybuilding a long time ago.
All right, guys. All right, this is. You can't see it.
Okay. So
Oh, yeah, he's got abs.
Yeah, you're still lean.
Yeah, so it's like 10% though, but like I have zero bicep peak. Like there's nothing here.
Oh wow, yeah, your arms are small.
See, I don't like. I have no genetics for bodybuilding. My waist is too thick. Like I have zero quad sweep, zero.
But you must have crazy ass tendon strength.
Yeah, my back's decent, but like I would get destroyed in any physique competition. I knew it. I'm like, there's no point. I have terrible structure. Like,
Did you do one show, Pete? You did one show?
Well, it was, and I even look at those pictures, natural many years ago. I was terrible structured.
Yeah.
Oh God, you would destroy me, Bostin. If I put my pictures in for the rate your genetics,
do it.
You would say these are the worst genetics I've ever seen for bodybuilding. Like if I should submit them to Leo, you guys would be like, "This is the worst structure I've ever seen. This guy has no chance. He's gonna get last every show."
How did you do?
4 out of 8, and I would have gotten third, but I had 0 tan. I didn't even know what I was doing. My tan was like non-existent.
What year was this?
I was 19, so it was a natural bodybuilding teen show. 4th out of 8 in the teen division, like INBF.
Oh, okay. So the natural organizations.
Yeah, dude, it'd be hilarious. I could submit my physique. You guys this is the worst genetics we've ever seen.
Send them to Leo.
I should, because I swear to you, you've probably seen all the guys. You would literally be like, "This is the worst bodybuilding genetics I've ever seen." You need to just stick to lifting weights because you're never gonna win anything.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I know my limits, my limitations, but
I mean, you're lean naturally.
But how? Yeah, AP, you got to send me photos when you were at your peak with Harris, because that'll tell me how your genetics were for it.
Even though if I've broken my phone like 75 times, so I lose all my pictures. But I don't.
Pictures on your Instagram?
No, dude, it's just lifting.
Wait, in your emails with Justin, don't you have pictures there?
Oh yeah, dude, I could find the Justin emails. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They'd be in there.
Okay, cool.
Because you did update. Is that how he did it with you?
I have no legs and arms, guys. There's no chance. Like it's
even with Harris.
I looked better. I looked way better, but like it's still terrible. I'd place last at any show I'd ever do.
Send
like
them to
I'm
Boston.
lean, but dude, I wouldn't even be mad. I mean, it's the truth. He'd be like, "This is terrible." So
I trolled Larry Wills, and they asked him in an interview if he could beat me on stage. And I thought he was going to say, yeah, I would beat him. But he actually was like,
oh, shit. Did he freeze?
Did he freeze up?
He'll be back.
Actually was pretty level-headed about it.
What did he say? You froze up there for a second, Boston.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said something like, he was like, oh, no, I think I need some more time in bodybuilding if I want to beat him or something like that. He was actually level-headed about it, but when somebody asked him, I figured he was going to be like, yeah, I destroy him. Dude, but everyone said at the Nationals, he did the bodybuilding Nationals, and I knew he was going to do shitty, but everyone said he was so cocky backstage.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, because when I knew him, he was humble. He was quiet.
He was talking trash to people backstage.
Really?
Maybe he was just like, I could lift more than all of you.
Well, when I met the guy, he was very nice and quiet and humble. So it's crazy. But that was in 2017-ish.
Well, that's not too long after. This was
I don't know.
This was 2019 or 2018, yeah.
I competed with him twice, so that's all.
He seems like a cool guy to me. I mean, he seems like
talking shit to a couple guys, like talking shit to him, saying like, "Oh, you look like shit" or whatever.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a buddy that said he was getting a little weird with people backstage.
I saw a thumbnail. He just posted a video where he's doing 200-pound dumbbell military presses with Akeem Williams. 200 pounds, dude. He's insane. I mean, his strength is unbelievable. It's just freaking unbelievable.
I talked to a bodybuilder. I did a podcast with a bodybuilder that's actually his friend. And he said that Larry Wills in a bodybuilding workout has really bad endurance.
Oh,
I can see it.
He said when he put him through a bodybuilding workout, he was dead like a few sets in.
he's probably just all power. I mean, he just got those muscle fibers, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that bodybuilding, I kind of felt like bodybuilding would have, in my mind, I was like, if Pete does this bodybuilding, that's going to get his bench up to 500 pounds because his chest is going to get bigger. It's going to be a shorter range of motion. You know what I mean? He's going to have more muscle built up. And like in my head, I was like, that's going to get you that 800 squat, 500 bench, 900 deadlift. What do you think, Bostin? Like, I mean.
Yeah, I do think you're right. I do think if he focused on obviously not natural. Like if he did bodybuilding natural, it wouldn't even help him. But
Yeah.
if he the whole point of getting on bodybuilding was to be put on muscle, right?
Yeah.
Which is really hard to do at 30 years old when you're natural. But he would for sure get stronger. His bench would definitely go up. Mainly the pushing movements, to be honest with you.
You guys, when I did bodybuilding type training, I was training at Gold's Gym for like 3 months, and I had access to all these machines that I normally don't have because I never train at commercial gyms. My physique looked the best it ever did. I was doing like pec flies all the time, pec deck, and like tricep push down stuff I never do. And it was crazy. My physique looked the best. Like I couldn't believe it. I filled out shirts better.
And you only did it for what, 3 months?
3 months, and I was like, wow. I wasn't even on it. I was on like test and Anavar only. It was crazy.
You don't even know you don't even really know your limits because you haven't really tried. You know what I mean?
I've just done strength.
I get it, dude. I get it. Because if somebody was like, hey, Bostin, you should do powerlifting and see how strong you can get, I'd be like, I have no interest. So I get it, man. I understand it.
Yeah, it just doesn't really, because like you saw my bicep. I mean, what the hell am I gonna do with that? Like, there's nothing,
Well, you said you got weak too, right, from the diet?
Huh?
I think Pete was telling me when you dieted, you lost all your strength, right? When you dieted for that show.
Oh, I always lose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you lose a ton of strength dieting.
Yeah, so that kind of goes against what you love to do. So, I mean, why do it? Kind of.
You seem really calm for the average powerlifter. Usually, really good powerlifters I've talked to are kind of wiry and kind of crazy a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was at some point, but I think being off the drugs, like, it's just calmed me down like crazy. So.
Really? So you feel like you're calmer now?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was crazy back then. Like,
that's
for real.
crazy. The drugs do the opposite for me.
They calm you down?
Yeah, because I already am like, for instance, I've been off for 7 weeks, and like they were trying to, out of nowhere, dude, like we always park in front of this pizza place to get pizza for my son. And they tried to tow us. We had to pay them $50. They literally tried to tow us. We were there for literally 2 minutes, and they put those things on, dude. I'd never get angry at shit like this. I wanted to rip those guys' heads off. I went outside and I just was livid. I was fucking yelling at them. I was close to going, like, knocking these dudes out. Like, I was pissed. And I never get like that. And I remember, like, through school and shit, I was in special ed for behavioral issues because I was crazy. When I got on gear, it like completely calmed me down.
Yeah, no, I was crazy. Well, on trend mainly, but like everything was fast paced, my life and all that stuff. So now,
did it affect your relationships?
oh yeah,
Oh, it did. Wow.
100%. Like, I can't sustain a relationship really on trend too well.
You get paranoid or what?
I get as paranoid as Leo, where I'm like constantly think the worst, and then I don't feel like a good person on trend. So,
like, you think that like she's cheating on you and stuff?
yeah, back when I was on trend in a relationship, it was bad, man. It was bad.
See, Trend makes me so calm. Trend literally
Dude,
fucking a mute.
I don't know how that works because it makes me like paranoid and more. My temper is terrible.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I don't have a temper now at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
How about you, Scott? Does Trent fuck with you?
Bro, I've never done Trent, bro.
Oh my
Why not?
He's-
Why not?
Hey, have you guys ever heard of do you guys know who B. Burton Fitness is? Have you ever heard of that guy?
Sounds familiar.
Sounds, yeah.
B. Burton Fitness. This is a guy I really want to actually have him on the podcast. And he would, you know, he was a bodybuilder, but he never, I don't think he competed, but he had a great physique. I mean, the guy looked amazing. And he was very open about, you know, his cycles and stuff. And he used to make all these videos. And then he had some health issues and just went off everything. So he's probably been off of everything for like 2 years now. And that's why I just like to talk to him and see like how that's going. Like if anybody knows that guy, you know, tell him to hit me up because I want to talk to this guy. But he's you know, he took all his videos and stuff down though. Like the guy just like, he's like disappearing. I don't know why.
So why have you never tried Trent? You're scared of it?
I heard that you just don't sleep at night on that stuff.
Oh, I mean, it depends if you eat. I mean, there's ways to combat that, but you know, you just got to start real low.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the side effect that I've heard.
You work with Palumbo and Justin, and they never had Trent in your program?
Just TRT, bro. Just
Wow.
TRT. That's
Oh
it.
my gosh. I could sleep fine on Trent. I just was crazy. Wanted to fight everyone I saw outside.
Really? You like it actually like pissed you off, huh? Like for no reason.
Nothing. Okay, my strength levels on that, I could never come close to them off it. I tried every other compound out stack things, and it was never even close to just Trent. And like, it affected me so badly that like, I don't know how I didn't end up getting in jail or something. Like it's stuff, man. I was a doorman when I was on it. I was around drunk people, and I would just light up on people because I'd be so pissed at them because they were drunk, and like there was some stuff I was like, man, I don't know what
I got any videos that people can record in your ass.
That's what you
Back
said.
then,
You couldn't
nobody
sleep
recorded.
at night, right, Pete? After you get off of work, you said you couldn't even sleep because you'd be just like
Adrenaline.
enraged.
My adrenaline would be going crazy. I'd have to sit there for an hour in silence
Wow.
because we get out of the bar and go home at like 3 a.m. and you just got to sit there till 4. But I was like trying to. I didn't want to get stabbed or something, so I almost took Trend to like self-protection mechanism because I'm like, well, if I'm crazy enough, people aren't going to want to fight me. So
Hey, I just realized that we've been going for an hour and a half, and I wanted to cut it short today just because I really want to do this again. So I'm gonna wrap it up right here, you guys. Thank you for doing this. And yeah, I hope that we could do this again because I think I really like the dynamic with you guys a lot. You know, I think it's great.
I think Leo did Leo reach out to you, Pete? I think he wanted you back on too soon.
I've been talking to him, but I know he's busy with his daughter and everything, so I don't try to bug him. I don't try to text him too much.
I won't set you back on, but Scott, can you give Pete my number? And
Yeah, he was in the group text that
Yeah, I got it.
That was
okay.
me and you and Pete. So
Okay, cool.
so he's got your number and you got
Yeah,
his.
I want you to send me those photos from when you were with Justin.
Yeah, dude, and blast him on the internet. No, I'm just
Dude, I
kidding.
would never do that. I would never do
No,
that.
no, it's oh man.
You actually
there-
did. You sent me a picture like when you
Yeah,
first worked with
it
Justin.
was-
You looked really good, I thought, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's not bodybuilding good, but it was all right.
Like physique though, or whatever. Like
Yeah,
your
I still-
abs were like crazy.
Send them over. I want to see.
I still got all that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I put some serious size on, but
And then Boston will be like, "I'm taking over everything, bro." And we're just all right, you guys. Thank you.
See you
Have a
guys.
good night.
we'll see you guys.